This man broke One Piece scaling. After seeing the recent vivre cards that Crocodile is now a confirmed Haki user, today I wanted to discuss not only how he slept on regarding his scaling, but also why he in retrospect is a perfect addition to the series and why he to me will remain as one of the biggest menaces within the One Piece world. Think of this video more so as a breakdown of Crocodile's power / character. If you want more analysis like this on other One Piece related characters, let me know down in the comments who you'd like to see next. Now, even before Alabasta, we know Crocodile started his journey back around when Whitebeard was still in his prime. We know Crocodile attempted to fight him, which went about as well as you'd think, and yet despite this, Crocodile continued his journey and even built up a crew called Baroque Works, a group composed of some of the deadliest warriors within the One Piece world. Crocodile would be the strongest of his crew, with the power system of his crew being number based. So since he's Mr. Zero, he's pretty much the #1 threat of the crew, and for reference, this would mean characters like Mr. One, who pushed Zoro beyond his limits, and arguably made him use Haki and was already on par with Luffy going into this fight, would be below Crocodile's capabilities. He possesses the Logia type devil fruit known as the Sand fruit. This allows him to turn his very body into sand, making him intangible and virtually impossible to hit without the use of Haki or specific cases like water. With his fruit, he can not only produce and manipulate the element of sand, but he himself can turn things into sand by absorbing the moisture around him. If Crocodile is able to catch you with this specific hand, then he would just absorb the water from your body, turning you into dust. These abilities specifically are broken because of the fact that Crocodile was introduced early on in the series, and no one really had access to Haki by this point in time. And right now, I am kind of gassing up Crocodile or making it seem like he's very impressive, but a lot of you are probably wondering, Tyler, if he is so broken, how did he lose to a Luffy who didn't even discover his gear transformations yet? Now, when I was first scaling One Piece, this was one of the big things that people would ask about. And this fight, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of fans ignore context and just use the fact that, oh, well, Luffy didn't have gears yet and he gets gears later on, so Crocodile sucks. But if you actually paid attention and read the fight, Crocodile didn't really struggle with Luffy until their last encounter. In their first fight, it's pretty much obvious that Luffy lost here, but after learning about his weakness to water, he would spray some on him and weaken his body and then proceed to punch Crocodile. So not only is he caught off guard, his durability is lowered, and yet despite this, he beats Luffy anyway. And by the time of round 3 occurring, we see Luffy getting stronger and stronger as their fight progresses, while Crocodile would only be getting weaker. You see, in between the 3 rounds, Luffy at least had a little bit of time to recover, more so from the first to second fight rather than the second to third, just because we see Luffy blatantly being fatigued. But from rounds 1 through 3, Crocodile has not had any rest or any chance to recover his stamina. Now, I will say, because of Luffy's insane power progression past this arc, it makes Crocodile definitely look bad. I'm not disagreeing with that. But we're not going to sit here and say Luffy just negged Crocodile and proceeded to get so much stronger and leave him in the dust. That is not what happened in that fight at all. And it's kind of funny that this fight specifically has put Crocodile stocks like down in the water, but Crocodile clearly would have defeated Luffy if he took him seriously, but the ego he had is what ultimately caused him to lose. And also, to be fair to Luffy, he had 3 whole opportunities to beat him, and he got a lot stronger during their final encounter. I also feel like it makes sense for the story for somebody like Crocodile to lose to someone like Luffy, as Crocodile is a character who is supposed to represent just how terrifying pirates can truly be, and instead of liberating and bringing freedom like Luffy, he wants to control the freedom of others and take what's his. And because of this, it makes sense as to why someone like Luffy would be able to get the jump on Crocodile. Because Crocodile could never even hope to imagine some rubber boy could get in the way of his plans. And what ended up happening? He got cocky and stupid, and that rubber boy proceeded to ruin his plans. Crocodile, with his power, thought he could conquer the world. But as he'd soon come to find out, in order to be strong in this world, you can't simply be a devil fruit merchant. After this point in the story, we'd start to see a lot of the previous characters who got power cliffed come back, and Croc is no exception to this. For example, characters like Buggy and Mr. 3, who were unironically sub-Alabasta Luffy, are now aiding Luffy and protecting him despite him having his gears. And in Crocodile's case, not only do we see him, Jimbe, and Luffy being the big dogs leading the escape, but we'd see Crocodile in the anime specifically reacting to gear to Luffy after he comes out of nowhere to kick him away. As we know, Luffy is many times more powerful than when he was in Alabasta, and so if Crocodile is able to do this, then logically he would have had to gotten multiple times stronger himself. This makes sense considering that kick that Luffy threw at Crocodile didn't even hurt him, and we'd see throughout Marineford, Crocodile at his worst would be saving Luffy from attacks that would definitely kill him. Not only does he willingly move in to intercept Mihawk's attacks, the same one ones that were going to kill Luffy had he gotten hit, but we see him fighting stronger characters like Jozu and even Doflamingo. Now, by this point, you're going to start really questioning where Crocodile is at, because this man's scaling is just all over the place. So firstly, he gets blitzed by Gear 2 Luffy, and then the kick that Luffy seemingly throws at him does no damage. Then we see him intercepting Mihawk and saving Gear 2 Luffy. Then he would proceed to clash with Doflamingo and imply that he is not inferior to him. And then we see him surviving an off-guarded Haki infused blow by one of the strongest Whitebeard commanders. Mind you, every character that I just mentioned that Crocodile had some type of scaling to have their own separate scaling and do not correlate in any way. Which is why scaling Crocodile is really annoying, because his feats are just, again, all over the place. For anybody who wants to try and use the Alabasta feats to say that this is an outlier, it is confirmed in Marineford that Crocodile is showing his true power, or is starting to show his true power. So even with the worst of downplay, this confirmed that Croc is definitely stronger in Marineford than he is in Alabasta. And as we know, after the Paramount War, he and Mr. 1 would end up joining with Buggy and Mihawk, forming the strongest alliance known as Cross Guild. Crocodile during this time, as we know, learned Haki thanks to the recent vivre card statement confirming it, meaning he can interact with Logia users and even predict the future. And we know in One Piece, Haki in general is a significant multiplier, so if you weren't convinced that Crocodile wasn't strong before or didn't get stronger, well, now this same Crocodile that survived hits from Jozu and was clashing with Dofi without Haki, now has that very same power. Now, due to them specifically mentioning armament and observation, it's confirmed that he isn't a conqueror, but the possibility of him having conquerors is definitely there. Crocodile at the end of the day is someone who has a goal of ruling the pirate world with an iron fist, and if characters like Boa and even Kid are considered conquerors, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for Croc to one day attain this power himself. Now, if Crocodile hasn't surpassed the previous pre-time skip threats by now, then honestly he's just gonna get farted on by base Luffy the next time they see each other, but I don't think that's likely, and I'm more inclined to say that the next time we see Crocodile, he's probably going to power creep the majority of characters and will be in that high Yonko Commander 1 tier. His scaling to Mihawk I feel like isn't all that accurate, as Mihawk in general wasn't taking anyone in Marineford seriously. But if you wanted to say Cross Guild's rep got built up because of these two, and if Croc maybe gets conquerors, Crocodile could actually be a top tier, and maybe the agenda for Crocodile is real. But as of right now, I feel like his level of power is still ambiguous, and I hope Oda can be a little more consistent with his power this time around. Because I'm sorry, I do not know what Oda was cooking with Crocodile in pre-time skip. Regardless of what happens, he will remain as one of my favorite characters within One Piece, and one of the only characters within the series that represents what a pirate is at its true core. But listen, Oda, if Crocodile without Haki is surviving hits from Jozu and clashing with Dofi, please make him strong again, bro. I'm begging you, the next time he comes in, please let him one-shot Sanji. Please!